Welcome, friends. Welcome to day number 20 of If Life is for Learning, What in the Hell Did I Learn Today? And think about that, you guys. Life is for learning. That's why we're here. And think about every time you get kicked in the stomach, you got kicked for a reason. I don't know what it is, but if you quiet your mind and you explore it and you're curious about it, you can move from being a victim and angry at someone else, but take care of yourself and start exploring why it might have happened and something you could do different to avoid it next time. Please join me for 3 grounding breaths, which I don't need that bad today. I'm not in like a super crazy rush or a panic, so I'm happy about that. I just had a podcast, so, oh my gosh, have I already started? But do not wear, oh no, it says something. I don't want to lose this. If you end this live video now, I don't want to end it. What happened? Okay. I have to edit that out because I got distracted. So let's do our 3 calming breaths. Feet on the ground. I said I didn't need them and then I got distracted. Okay, feet on the ground, undo your legs, put your feet down, your hands on your legs, your feet on the ground, and feel the earth under your feet. Feel your foot on your shoe on the ground, and under that is cement, and under that is rock and water and dirt and rock and water, all the way to the core of the earth. Feel that connected. Just by sitting here, you are that connected and held. Let's breathe in through our nose. Hold for 2, and out through our mouth. In through our nose. One more breath. Thank you so much. I didn't count those last times and I almost couldn't quite do it right. So I'm going to continue to count it out for me. Our topic today is Earth Angels. I was reminded of Earth Angels today because I had a fellow on my podcast named Scott Carter. And the very first thing I ever did in Hollywood, I wrote a 1-person show called Miss Junior Overland Park. That was a hometown that I grew up in Kansas. And Miss Junior Overland Park is I won Queen at the mall where I lived. That was my second home. I won Queen of my second home. And it was called Miss Junior Overland Park. It was a big turning point in my life in 4th grade, or a big one of the big kind of steps of my life of learning who I was and what was possible. So anyway, I wrote this 1-person show, and I remember when I said I was going to write it, I told my husband I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and that is what I believed, because I knew I hated the job I was in. I was in an office, I was suffocating. So I said, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. So we got engaged. I said, can I stay home? And he's like, no. And we got married. I said, can I stay home? He's like, no. And when I got pregnant, I said, can I stay home? No. At one point, he was like, Lee, I'm an out-of-work actor. You're the only one bringing in money. Let's wait for a minute. So I said, okay, when I have this baby, can I stay home? And he said, if I have a job, yes. And he had a job. And I never went back to work into an office. But I found myself in the first 3 weeks of staying home, overweight, not feeling like myself, a little depressed because all my friends were still at the office and going out to happy hour every night. And my husband was working, and I was just sitting there uncomfortable looking at this little blob who was giving me nothing back. And I remember just looking at it and going, this is it? This is what I said I've longed for? And I thought, I got to do something creative while I'm home. I'm going to write a 1-woman show. And so when David came in that day, he said, come on, we have to watch this new show that's on TV. And we did not have like DVR or TiVo back then. And so he said, come on, let's watch a show. And I said, no, I'm going to write. I'm going to write every night when Charlie goes down from 8 to 9 p.m. He goes, write what? And I go, I'm going to write a 1-woman show. And he goes, who in the hell are you? You told me you just want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I go, I thought that until I got here. So I said, I'm going to write a 1-woman show. It's going to get on the Oxygen Network, and then I'm going to get a development deal. And he's like, that's not how it works. You have to pay your dues and take classes and learn to and do all this stuff. I was just watching him, like saying those things to me, and I just said, David, you can either support me or say nothing, but please honor 1 hour a day from 8 to 9 I'm going to write. So I did that. I didn't deviate from the plan, whatever. I didn't go if there's a fun party, if there's a good dinner date, if there's anything, I wrote. And at the end, I had this big thing, and Dave told me I had to cut it down, and I did, and I put it up on his feet. at the Improv Olympic in Hollywood. And a man, Gary Mann, who was working at the HBO Workspace at the time, asked if I would come do it at the HBO Workspace. I did it there. And today I had Scott Carter on, and he told me how it really went down, but I had it different in my head. But he said he was finishing a contract at Oxygen, and he had 3 months left. And the head of Oxygen said, we want to do some 4 one-person shows on our network. Tons of people have sent tapes of their one-person shows. Would you pick some, look at them, and pick 4 for our shot? So he said he walked up to these hundreds of tapes, and one caught his eye because there was a masking tape stripped down the side of it when you used to write on the side of VHS tapes, and it said, Miss Junior Overland Park. Now, Scott Carter was from Overland Park. So he was like, what is this? And he pulled it out, and then he pulled like a famous person, I think another kind of well-known person, and then the other guy wasn't really sure, but he pulled out these and a few others, and then he watched it, and he said he really liked it, and he knew the places I was talking about, and my childhood resonated with his. Anyway, he called me and said, hi, my name's Scott Carter, and I'm producing 4 one-person shows, and I would like yours to be one of them. And I said, what network? And he said, the Oxygen Network. So I ended up going and doing it live in front of an audience with 5 cameras. And after that, I had a development meeting with Lisa Harrison at Fox, which didn't go anywhere. But I just remember coming home like, I told Dave these 2 things were going to happen, and they happened. And he was standing there scratching his head, and I just realized that when you get super focused and you know what you want to do, and you walk towards it, it can't help but happen. But what also happens along the way are, when you're moving in a direction, you attract people who will support you, work with you, and get you to your desired outcome. Scott Carter, by the way, I had no idea who he was. And I met him, and I instantly loved him. I loved his gentleness. I loved how he looked me in the eye. I loved his tenderness. I loved when I talked about these emotional things and I cried, that he was just holding space, working with me to navigate it. What I really loved about it too was Scott Carter chose me, which allowed me to choose myself from that point forward. Something about him choosing me out of the hundreds of videotapes on my first thing I'd ever done, I was like, oh, I'm capable of so much. And Scott showed me that by believing in me and choosing me. So he's an earth angel to me. He's an earth angel because he chose me, because he held my hand. I had a stage show. It's on YouTube. I just put it up, but I did it with a bed where I would be my mom, and I'd go over there when I was a cop, and I'd sit there when I was this and that. And when Scott told me, you're not going to have anything on the stage with you, you're going to stand in front of everyone and tell your story. And I remember I said, Scott, can I drink a glass of wine before, or 2? He's like, no, don't. Be present. I was like, all right. And from his advice, I never drank before I did anything. From that one moment, how he said it, I received it. I drank after, don't get me wrong, but I was very clear-headed in anything that I did when I started it. So I saw him today on my podcast. He's the producer of Bill Maher's show, Real Time with Bill Maher on HBO. And it's been running for, I think, 17 years. Or they're going into their 17th year. And he's done one-man shows. He hosts huge people, interviewing them. Like, he knows everyone on the planet. And I didn't know any of that when he chose me, and I worked with him and fell in love with his heart. He came on my podcast today, and we reconnected. We haven't seen each other in ages. And I just felt at home again when I was with him. I felt like he's such a calming, beautiful life force. And I realized he's one of my earth angels. Like, he saw me. I don't see him very often. I didn't even know all the stuff that he did. And when I looked at him today, I was just like, oh, you're back. I've missed you. We had a really beautiful, beautiful time together. So I want you to know that people talk about angels and the guides and the universal, I want to say God, but whatever, the universal energy that connects us all. Those are all real and true, and I feel all of those. But to have earth angels, tangible things that you can touch and look in their eyes and get reassurance and get confirmation and get support, it's so beautiful. Now, if you're walking around like this and you're doing your routine and you're always on your thing and you're doing your checklist, then you watch your TV shows, then you go do this, and then you drive the same way you can't see them. You can't see them. Another one of my earth angels are Sandy at the nail salon that I go to. She sees me and she looks right into my eyes, and I had the hardest time last year of my life, and she would be like, you sad today? I'm like, Yeah. She's like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I'm trying to do her accent. I don't even know how. But she would just reassure me in a loving way as she was touching my hands. And I realized that's an earth angel, someone who you can touch tangibly. And people are coming in right now. I'm getting a little distracted. So anyway, be aware there are earth angels around you. Be aware that they're coming to give you a message of love or to support you or to look at you or to hold you, to take your hand and guide you. But if you don't look and see them, they can't give you the beautiful gift. My last example of earth angel, when I was going through a really hard time last year, really hard time, and I couldn't breathe, and I just felt like I wanted to crawl up in a ball and cry until my eyeballs fell out. My kids are like, we want to get our eyebrows done. So I took them to eyebrow place. I sat like this in the corner, and this woman with like, I saw her feet first. They were like naturalizers or some shoes like that. And they would walk up, and she has like on leisure pants, and I go up and I look up, and she's tall, and she had gray hair and glasses, and she looked at me and she goes, she just looked down at me like that. And she's like, are those your children? And I was like, yeah, they're my children. She was like, you're so blessed. You're so blessed. And then I kind of put my head down like this, and I thought for a second, I was like, oh my gosh, my head's down and I'm sulking because I'm having a hard time. Let me look what's right the frick in front of me. My beautiful children, I am blessed. And I went to thank her, and she wasn't there. And then I said to the eyebrow girl, who was that lady that just passed by and said that? She's like, I didn't see anybody. Now, I'm not saying if it was or wasn't an angel, but she was not having a big presence, obviously. But she stopped to look me in the eye and give me the gift to turn my frown upside down and to see the blessings that are right in front of me. Open your eyes, people. Look in people's eyes as they pass you. Look who's standing next to you at the grocery store. Look at the teacher who keeps coming up lovingly to you. And start to know that there's something more than just they're really nice all the time. There's something more. Allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to see other people and to be touched by your heart. My quote today is, earth angels are all around. Open your eyes and reach out your hand. Earth angels are all around. Be vulnerable enough to see them. I like that one. Dear God, thank you for the Scott Carters of the world, for the Sandys at All Star Nails of the world, for the people who you think are just for a minute or a flash, you rarely see them, but they bring you something so beautiful and deep. I'm in deep gratitude that I'm awake to receive it. I'm in deep gratitude for the people that show up to show me that here on earth, there are angels that will help me and guide me and hold my hand and hold me when I'm crying. Let me be that tenfold for others. And a special blessing on everyone today, especially my friend Tamara Mark. Amen. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining in. And I will see you tomorrow on day 20.